But there is one more thing. Hey, Johnny, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
With rumors flying around that Apple is going to focus less on new features this year and more on stability and performance, I asked you what new features you were still hoping to see. Mostly I got what I expected. Mostly. A surprising to me number of you said FaceTime enhancements. Yeah, FaceTime. But maybe that shouldn't have come as a surprise. Anyone who's ever been separated from the people they love for any amount of time knows how valuable FaceTime video is. And anyone looking to avoid the cost and low quality of long distance calls has pretty much made FaceTime audio their go-to. It's also end-to-end encrypted, which isn't just great for anyone who values privacy and security, but people who work in industries like medicine where the regulations demand it. But aside from adding audio a few years ago, FaceTime feels pretty much the same as it did when it launched back in 2010. And when you look at the differences between, say, new iMessage features now and new FaceTime features now, it feels frozen by comparison. Last year, though, FaceTime gained the ability to capture live photos, so maybe that freeze is finally beginning to thaw? If that's the case, I hope Apple goes all in on FaceTime, and I hope Apple makes FaceTime the next iMessage. Here's how. First, FaceTime screen sharing. Instead of just relaying what the camera sees, it relays what's currently on the screen. Start a call, tap a button, confirm a request because privacy and security, and then leave the call, and whomever you're FaceTiming with gets to see whatever you're doing. It'd be great for remote tech support, especially if you have family who aren't as familiar with all the settings and features. And yeah, I know, it's always easy to say something should be implemented when you're a YouTuber or a podcaster or a blogger and you're not the engineer responsible for implementing it, but Apple already provides for screen sharing and iMessage on Mac. Making it part of FaceTime and bringing it to iOS just makes the kind of sense that does. Second, FaceTime conference calls. Handling multiple callers on a FaceTime call is totally obvious to anyone who's ever seen the Modern Family FaceTime episode that used Hollywood magic to simulate the FaceTime features the real world has been lusting after for years. For implementation, Apple already has an excellent conference call system built into the phone app. The interface would need to be adapted for video calls, but adding and merging calls could be just as seamless. Once you're in a call, it'd be great to be able to toggle between full screen, where it switches to whomever is actively talking, and grid view, where you can see everyone up to whatever limit the service imposes. On bigger screens like iPad and Mac, the ability to toggle into multi-window mode would be fun too, again like Modern Family. But yeah, baby steps. Third, FaceTime AR and apps. There are already rumors of Animoji coming to FaceTime in iOS 12, and that'd be a lot of fun, but Apple is all in on AR, augmented reality, so why not make FaceTime all in on AR as well? The ability to add objects to your face like hats, glasses, and more, that's fun, especially with the power of ARKit, and the opposite as well. Apple Clips app can already use the iPhone X True Depth camera to do portrait green screen or place your body on different backgrounds. I'd love to be able to do that in FaceTime the way I used to be able to do a crude version of that in the old iChat app. Take it one step further, and just like there's an app store for iMessage, it'd be great to have an app store for FaceTime where I could download a range of licensed and indie AR stickers and backgrounds. Fourth, integrate with iMessage. Communication is fluid. There's just no line between video and text for Generation Insta or Generation Snap. You can kind of already do that on iPhone by 3D touching a contact and choosing call or message, but then you're jumping between apps like an animal. From iMessage, tap a button and the background becomes a live video call from FaceTime, or in FaceTime, tap a button and the iMessage field just slides up from the bottom. And then let me draw and annotate and capture during the FaceTime calls and screen shares the way I can with digital touch in iMessage or instant markup today. Fifth, FaceTime recording. Whether it's one-on-one, screen sharing, or a conference call, the ability to record a conversation would be terrific. And Apple is one of the few companies we can trust to do it not only privately and securely, but ethically as well, with consent. Hit the record button. Everyone else in the call gets a pop-up asking if the call can be recorded, and the call doesn't get recorded unless and until all parties consent. It would be great for businesses that want to share conversations or presentations with team members who couldn't make it on the call. And super selfishly, it'd be fantastic for YouTubers and podcasters who want to get high-quality clips for shows. All of that would totally make FaceTime every bit as valuable as iMessage for me, especially if I could take those recordings and easily share them with all of my friends or my whole team on the web. That's where Wix comes in. It lets you create a powerful, professional, personal website without having to worry about all the heavy lifting. You make it the way you want. Your imagination is the only limit. And since Wix is sponsoring today's show, don't just take my word for it. Go to wix.com/go/vector and check it out for yourself. Okay, one more feature. FaceTime everywhere, the cross-platform elephant in the room. When Steve Jobs first announced FaceTime, he surprised everyone, including reportedly his own FaceTime engineering team, by announcing,
We're going to the standards bodies starting tomorrow, and we're going to make FaceTime an open industry standard.
but that never panned out. Now, because of the re-architecture, the option to have others implemented on its own may be gone, and everyone may now have to go through Apple servers. I just don't know. I do know Apple historically doesn't operate anything at a loss, and adding hundreds of millions of Android, Chrome, and Windows users with no clear business model, because people probably wouldn't pay a subscription for it like they would Apple Music, and Apple won't broker data to support it like Facebook or Google would. So it might not be something the company would currently consider. But since FaceTime isn't iMessage, it might be something easier for Apple to experiment with. At least that's what I think. Now, I want to know what you think. Where would you like to see Apple take FaceTime next? All of the above or something completely different? Hit the like button, hit subscribe, and then let me know in the comments below or at Rene Ritchie on Twitter. Thank you so much for watching.
This is one of those moments that reminds us why we do what we do.